United news then. Now, I was hoping to do a video with some new signings, a striker at least one, a midfielder and probably a winger, and nothing has happened again. Now, all we've heard is the same news. Morata is signing, he's going to sign, it's close, this and that. We're just haggling over £10 million or €10 million, whatever the fee may be. There's been perisic news, as we've had bids maybe rejected, and it's getting too high for me, the perisic one. €50 million or whatever it is, Damasio's reporting, is just too much for a player of his ability and his age. I think you've got to be looking at a better player for that sort of money. And the Fabinho one, it was reported last week or so that PSG were the front runners and looked like they were going to sign him, but that seems to have gone a bit dead. And it says that Manchester United were going to lodge a bid. Now, Damasio did report a couple of weeks ago that Manchester United were in negotiations with Fabinho, but nothing's really, it's all hit a brick wall, to be honest. But last night there was some breaking news. Wayne Rooney is going to leave Manchester United now and join Everton. It is almost certain that he's leaving. He's been taken out the pre-season tour, so there is a space up for grabs. Potentially a youngster could take his place in that squad. It's probably a 25-man squad going off to America for the tour, because it doesn't look like many signs are going to come in before the tour now. So it does give someone else an opportunity to state their claim. Maybe Pereira to come in, because he's come back off his loan spell from last season. Maybe he could stake a claim, take up his opportunity if given a chance in the pre-season tour. Maybe another youngster can come into the fold and take a position up there, which would be nice to see, because there was no point taking Wayne Rooney on the tour if he was going to leave anyway. And Jim White has come out and said that he's heard that Wayne Rooney will be most likely going off to Everton. So I think it is almost set in stone that he will be going there. What the details are on the deal, we will have to wait and see. Could that potentially mean Romelu Lukaku coming to Manchester United? There have been a few reports that potentially the Lukaku's camp want him to come to Manchester United over Chelsea. I'm not too sure if he will or not, but it could all link in, because we've got the Diego Costa situation at Chelsea. So what happens there it's going to have to be resolved soon, so it will decide where Romelu Lukaku could end up next. It's either going to be Chelsea or Manchester United for me. I can't see him going to any other club at this stage of the transfer window, and it's reported getting near to £100 million maybe for the Belgium. Now, he does score a lot of goals in the Premier League. His goals to games in the big games hasn't been great over the last season or so, but he has been playing for Everton now, and he's scored a lot of goals at West Brom as well. So Manchester United are obviously on a higher level than them two at this moment in time. So if he did come in, he would probably score bags of goals in the Premier League at least, and could definitely contribute to helping Manchester United potentially win the Premier League next season. Certainly if Morata was to come in as well, that would be very, very good for Manchester United, because Morata, I don't think is the sort of player that's going to get you 20-25 league goals next season, but could be a very good player for Manchester United. But I would say out of the two, I think the more likely one is Morata to come in, but we're just going to have to wait and see. There's been reports this can happen in the next 48 hours and so forth, and going to get done before Manchester United fly off on the pre-season tour on Sunday. Now, the squad hasn't actually been announced for the tour, but Luke Shaw's been reported by ESPN that he's been included in the tour, and that he showed great commitment in recovering from this injury that he's got, which is great news to hear. But we don't have any insight on any of the other players that have been included yet, so we will have to wait and see when they come back of holiday. I think they return to training on Saturday and then fly out on the Sunday, so it's pretty short timing. So he's going to have to check that everyone's fit and available, pick his squad, and then we're going to fly off. I wouldn't expect too many youngsters to go with this squad. I wouldn't expect many of the players that performed in that game over Crystal Palace, the ones that came into the team, the Scott Tomini, them sort of players, the Angel Gomez's, I wouldn't expect them to go on the tour this time. I think Angel Gomez is probably going to keep his place in the under-18s for the next 2 or 3 months, which I would have liked to have seen him. With the fact that Wayne Rooney's not there, it does allow a space for someone like Gomez, and it would be been a great experience for him to have gone on the tour, but I just cannot see that happening now. There probably will be obviously the likes of Fosu Mensah going to Nzebi. them players that have featured more regularly for Manchester United, but the ones that just featured in the odd game over that Crystal Palace game, I wouldn't expect them ones to come into it. Anyway, there's not really much to report on, as I say, the actual players coming in. The only other real talking point is that Chris Smalling's apparently going to have showdown talk with Jose Mourinho about his future. I think he probably will be moved on before the end of the window. It does look like he wants to favour keeping Phil Jones over Chris Smalling. I don't know what the problem was last season, whether he was saying about he could play through injuries and problems like that. Whether that's true or not, maybe he doesn't feel he's committed enough to the cause, but I think he's fallen down the pecking order at Manchester United anyway, and we've got to get rid of at least one of Phil Jones or Chris Smalling before the start of the season, because you can't have the amount of centre-halves we've got. Even if we get a load of injuries, and we would need them, we can't just leave them sort of players, the likes of Chris Smalling, who is an England international, just sitting there on the bench or in the stands for week after week with the amount of centre-halves we've got. It's just not good for Manchester United. I would expect maybe one or two other players to probably leave before the start of the season, but we've got to get at least 3 players in, a centre forward, at least one. We've got to get a wide man in, at least one, and at least one central defensive midfielder. The Matic one, I haven't said about that, but that has completely seemed to have died off lately. Whether it's going to happen, everything might just fall into place when, let's say, the Bakayoko deal, if that goes through, the Matic deal might happen, and lots of other deals might happen. Costa might leave, Lukaku might go somewhere. All these deals might just have a domino effect, just all happen at once when one transfer happens. So we're just going to have to wait and see. I know people are worried that they won't go on the tour, but just going to have to be how it is. We've still got a couple of games after the tour. We've got the Super Cup to play against Real Madrid. So we have got a few games to bring these players in and bed them before the start of the season. Even if they don't come in now, it isn't ideal, but we've done this in the past. Wayne Rooney coming late and was injured when he signed for Manchester United in the past. We had Robin van Persie, didn't come in till late, and almost missed the first game against Everton at the start of the season, which we actually lost, and we still went on and won the league. So although it's not ideal, but sometimes the transfers do take time and you just cannot do anything about them. So we just got to be patient. If in another month's time we get to August and there's still no signings, more signings, then I will panic. Anyway, like the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll bring you any more latest content, any more breaking news when it happens here on the channel. Talk to you all again soon. See ya.